I would like to talk to you today about a topic that I'm personally super excited about. And this topic combines web and VR. So who is this random guy that's standing in front of you? I'm a technological enthusiast. My name is Marcin. I love doing cutting-edge projects about web and Android. Personally, I love traveling and good cuisine. In this photo, I'm traveling somewhere and thinking about my next meal, probably. So professionally, I'm a technical lead at Unit 9. So who is Unit 9? We are interactive production agency. That might not mean too much to you, but I will explain that later. We have offices all around the world. What's most important, we have an office in Poland, one in Łódź and one in Poznań since 2011. We combine 150 talented people who are as crazy about technology as I am. We have 5 main directions of development. We have Unit 9 Films. We have Unit 9 Digital, where we do web experiences. We have Unit 9 Games. We have Unit 9 Technology, about installations. And most importantly, we have Unit 9 VR, where we do all crazy stuff about virtual reality. So we do projects for the biggest brands, like Google. So what projects? First of all, our first big VR project, O2, Where the Rose, is the first 360 VR experience ever developed for Oculus Rift. Then there is 5GAM for Wrigley. It's a project that was showcased in Germany in a few cities. It's a project which combines multi-sensory experience where you can not only see virtual reality, but also feel it by smell and taste. Then there's Nissan Juke, a project we are super proud about. It's a project where you can chase the thrill. You can chase Nissan Juke using a physical treadmill, and you can see all of that in Oculus Rift, of course. Then the last project is a project called Way to Go. It's a project which we would like to present to you at the end of this presentation, where we will choose a happy volunteer to come to us and see it himself. We will show that all here. So, Unit 9 recently organized a big event in Łódź called VR Challenge. We are super proud about it. We are super happy about the reception. We did that in Łódź 2 weeks ago. People were crazy about all the installations that were showcased there, as you can see in the pictures. Wow, right? So here are some numbers. It took 2 days. We showed 14 installations, some discussion panels where you can talk about virtual reality. 850 visitors. So this is the beginning, but we'll do more next year. So get ready for that. So what is virtual reality? Yeah, so virtual reality is a way of simulating physical experience. So you can be in a place, in another place in real world, or in imaginary world, or in a world in digital. So, where does VR come from? Actually, VR is not a new thing. It's already with us for many years, as in some movies like Tron or Existence. So it's not a new thing. But you probably heard about VR a few years ago, and we failed once. We failed because in 1990s, we didn't have technology that can support such forward-thinking idea like virtual reality. So here comes the second wave of VR, which started with Oculus Rift, a project which was initially funded on Kickstarter in 2012. It's a project which started the new revolution in digital, new revolution in technology. One big event that changed everything was when Oculus was bought by Facebook. And that meant much. That meant that big brands care about virtual reality. And if they do, like Google, who has its Google Cardboard, or the new idea, the new concept of Android VR, and Samsung, who partnered with Oculus with its Gear VR, then we have Sony with its Project Morpheus, and HTC with HTC Vive, project made with cooperation with Valve. If those brands care about virtuality, then it means that something is happening, that VR revolution will happen. And actually, I believe, and we believe, that VR revolution is already happening. What's the current state of art? How does it look? So I told you about Oculus Rift. It's not finished project yet. It's not finished product. But we are waiting impatiently for 2016. In first quarter, the consumer edition will come out, and we will see the revolution happening in real. So what are the VR devices? First of all, there are head-mounted devices like Oculus Rift. Here you have a few examples. But virtual reality is not only about the head-mounted devices. It's also about the input. So there are also different kinds of devices which initially weren't actually meant for virtual reality. But there's one more, which is Oculus Touch. And this is a device which will also come up with Oculus Rift. And we are super excited about it because it will be a device that's meant certainly for virtual reality. So there is huge potential in those devices, but I think that the potential is not used well. So there's a lot of work to exploit it. And that comes to people. So people in VR. So virtual reality are currently mostly installations, as we do in Unit 9. They are developed for desktop machines, powerful machines. They are developed using game engines. They're not portable enough. They don't have enough reach. VR misses people. So we cannot show VR experience to everyone anytime. This is because there is bad accessibility of the devices. Oculus Rift isn't even released yet. This is because it's always single-person experience. It's created by devs for devs. No, mostly it's games and experiences, and it's not tools. So we need democracy in VR. We need more people in VR. We need the VR experiences to be driven by people, not by technology. So VR experiences are currently too much about the VR devices, too much about VR itself. We need to change that. So basically, VR doesn't need to be about entertainment. There's so much more we can do. As, for example, we can use VR in architecture, where you can have 3D world mapped to virtual reality, so that you can see buildings even before they are built. You can explore the buildings. You can see the you can see the architecture the way it should be actually used in the end. And there's already some software for that. Then it naturally comes to real estate. So you can see the flat, the apartment, the building you'd like to buy from remote place. And that comes with 3D mapping, and then the remote exploration, the virtual exploration. Education. We all care about education. First of all, it's proven that virtual reality can improve empathy so that we can be presented with the problems directly from a point of view of a person who is experiencing those problems. Like we can go to some third world country and see the life from with the eyes of a person who lives there. Then we have simulation. We can use VR to teach people operate machines which are expensive, which are not available, like easily accessible. And this is better than theory. You can actually experience, you can see how the machine looks from the inside, so that you are not surprised when you are actually finally using it. It's not that you will learn, of course, everything, but you can at least start. It's better than a book. Then we have geography, and it's a project that's already happening. It's a project called Google Expositions, where you can use Google Cardboard to see some remote place so that you can learn geography, as you can see in the picture. Medicine. This is a very interesting topic. So it's been proven by University of Washington that it can be used for pain reduction for soldiers. It can also be used to cure trauma or phobia, so that you can be gradually exposed to what you're afraid of. Not directly, but using VR. And then there's sports. So, who doesn't love sport? So, you can use VR for event broadcasting. So we can be inside when the game is happening. You can also see the sport, the game, with the eyes of the player, like here in the picture. It's taken from the project WebRTC, where you can practice with English rugby team. Okay, so people need VR. It's not that VR needs people, it's people need VR. So I told you I will be talking about WebVR. So what about people and web? Web has people, has a lot of people. So currently web is 3 billion internet users. And you can see it's increasing super fast. There are many projections, one made by Cisco. It says 4 billion people in 10 years. But there are some that say more, that there will be 5 billion people using internet in 10 years. So this is super important. So why is that happening? Why the web is so good, so different than, for example, VR at the moment? It's because web can be used as a communication medium. It's because web can be used as a tool to actually do something. Because web is fun, and most importantly, because web is what we actually make it. Because web is freedom. Then this is a notion that I came up with. It's a made-up idea of technological democracy. And what does it mean? So, there are 2 points of it. First of all, it's so that people have easy access to technology. And secondly, it's that technology targets vast spectrum, like vast demographic spectrum, different kinds of people, of different ages, of different gender. And what I believe is that web is actually technological democracy. And how is it realized. So I will talk about tech now. It's web APIs. So you can do so many things with web, with browsers. First of all, communication APIs. So we can send data to servers. You can send data back from the servers using XHR, using WebSockets. You can do that in real time, peer-to-peer, using WebRTC, which is the best. Then we have media APIs. So you have video, audio. You can manipulate those. Graphic APIs. So Canvas, SVG, and most importantly for WebVR, WebGL. Then there are physical APIs. So we can read data from different devices. So you can actually force some devices to do things for you, like vibration API. Just an example. Yeah, so here comes new API, which is called WebVR. It's an experimental API at the moment. So there are two types of devices that are targeted by this API. One is HMD, so head-mounted devices. There are also position sensor, the second kind of device which is used, for example, by Oculus Rift. You can do with it, you can access the devices, you can read their parameters so that you can target the features of actual device. And most importantly, you can stream sensor data. So you can read all the things that you can get all the things that you need for proper rendering, what you like to see. I wouldn't like to go into the details how it works because it's still draft. But if you want to see it, there's a link. You can read it. It's quite short, so nice read. Where is it available? So at the moment, there are only 2 browsers. And these are not official builds of those browsers. There is MozVR, which is a Mozilla Firefox build with access of WebVR API. Actually, on this website, there is a showcase of different WebVR experiences. Mozilla is super serious about it. And then there is VR-enabled Chromium, which is an official build, but there is an option. So, WebVR. It's not only an API. It's actually a concept of running VR experiences in a browser. How I see it is that the web and VR, they are complementary. Web improves the experience between people, and I call it external experience. But then there is VR, which improves experience, the internal one, so between you and your body. And WebVR is actually a new form factor. So what we see now is actually what was happening with mobile in 2007 when the first iPhone came out. So we have all the issues that comes with it. At the moment, if you want to enter the VR experience, you basically need to exit what you are seeing, you need to put Oculus on, you need to start experience, and when you want to go somewhere else, you need to take it off. And most of the websites, then, they don't have support of VR. So there's a problem of backward compatibility. So you need to think of how we can show the website, the legacy websites, that are prepared not for VR, and show them in a way that they're useful also in VR, like in a device like Oculus. Then the second issue, which is a big one, is hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are the power of web. They're a way that you can travel across different websites super fast. And we must think of a way how we can actually do that with a VR device. Then the first problem is performance. So we already have problems with running some experience, web experience, on mobile with 60 FPS, which is a target. But VR needs more. And how can we achieve that? And of course, hardware. So as I said before, the VR devices, they're not ready yet. So they have their own issues. Some examples here. Actually, if you want to have smooth, continuous vision on a VR device, that would need a 16K screen on a 5-inch screen. So basically, 16K resolution on a 5-inch screen, which is quite a lot. It's not possible at the moment. Yeah. OK, so if you want to get started with it, I encourage you, you can check this out. There's a super cheap device called Google Cardboard. It looks like a joke, but it's not. If you want to get started, there's a WebVR starter kit. So it's a scaffold of a project that's already to be used. You don't need super experience with WebGL. You can just use it. It's awesome. So right now, I would like to talk about a way to go. It's a project that we'd like to show you on stage. So we will need a volunteer to come join us. Anyone? Come on. OK, so Way to Go is one of the first WebVR experiences developed commercially. It's not a Unit 9 project, but it's directed by Vincent Morisset, who is creative director cooperating with us. We developed already a project for music band Arcade Fire. By the way, it's awesome, just a reflector. You can see it. It's an interactive music video. Actually, Maciej was the lead developer there. So what's the way to go? It's a super artistic experience. It's a magical walk. And I can talk to you about it, but maybe it's better if you just see it. So it's a 360 video combined with some custom animations. Stereoscopic view. So we have the image rendered twice for separately for each eye, so that you can experience it in full 3D. This is experience for everyone, and they say it can last starting from 5 minutes or to forever. Anyone wants to continue? Come on. Because there's more, really. It's all running in Chrome browser, you believe it or not. Wi-Fi died. By the way, it's all running in Oculus still. Okay, it's back. So you can see it's getting crazier later. The interesting fact about it is that the music is all generated, it's not static content, based on what the user is doing. Power of the web. Anyone wants to continue? Go on. who's next? Okay, we still have time, so anyone? Come on. He wasn't sure. Wants to join us. Okay, come. Maciek. One moment. we've got 3 more minutes for this. Come on. One last person. Question time. Kuba, could you come?
Hello. So is it compatible only with Oculus Rift or Google Cardboard and so on?
Yeah, so Google Cardboard is a specific device, and actually Google Cardboard is about mobile VR, and mobile VR at the moment is not WebVR. So mobile VR is where you put your phone into a case like Google Cardboard, and actually you display things on the phone directly, so you don't need external API to access sensor data. So WebVR is an API which is meant to be compatible with all HMDs like Oculus, but also like HTC Vive or Sony Morpheus. But at the moment, it's Oculus Rift.
VR is known to be latency sensitive, right? So my question is, what about latency and WebVR? Is it present there? Do you feel it somehow?
Yeah, so the content must be rendered on the client side. So this is, as I said, it's a big performance issue question that we need to kind of address. So we need to render that over 60 FPS, like Oculus Rift has 75 Hertz. So yeah, when we do that, then it's fine. Does it answer your question?
So can we do this with more demanding stuff? So do you really see the future in web apps and VR? So
I don't understand your question, sir.
So is the web browser capable of doing this stuff really in 60?
Yeah, so here it actually was running in quite a bunch of FPS, so probably 60. You could see it in less because it was the connection issue. And it's all about the hardware. So it is able if the hardware is good enough and if it's optimized enough. So it's not like everything will run in over 60 or 70 FPS directly. You need to optimize for that.
Got a maybe silly question. When do you think that we will be able to experience something like a Matrix? Like in the movie, like a full virtual reality with everything?
You can come join us next year on the VR challenge. Well, it's up to us. So basically, at the moment, we can experience quite a lot on desktop platforms. So like for installations, when you use game engines, like we did in a few projects that we featured. Yeah, but full experience is also about input and about other sensors. We'll see.
Do you know about any operating system shells that will maybe are designed to work in 3D, or even integrated development editors, so like, you know, IntelliJ 3D? Have you heard about such experiments?
There's one project which is actually a FreeJS editor in VR. FreeJS is a library for doing 3D. WebGL is an API that runs on top of WebGL. And yeah, so we can do this. The problem with that is that at the moment, the resolution is not good enough to have perfect text rendering. So that might be an issue at the moment. But yeah, there are experiments. As I said, the FreeJS editor is one of them.
You mentioned working with some global brands such as Nissan, Harrods. How does this cooperation usually look from your perspective? Do you just go to a motor show when they're doing some exposition with your equipment, with your stuff? Do you support this yourself? Or is this an option actually for a brand to actually deliver an in-store experience like this to provide the Oculus VR, some sensors, beacons maybe, and to create a sort of even more immersive experience for the clients? Or is this something that just happens as a bespoke event? What's the usual way you work with these companies?
So that might be a question that Maciej maybe will answer the best. So yeah, we'll need the microphone.
So the way we usually work with our clients in terms of virtual reality installations is that they are bespoke experiences. This is usually related to the nature of our company. We do technical solutions for marketing, and usually don't want to advertise something in a way that's been done before. So this is a consequence of the type of the company we are. For Nissan, it was a bespoke experience. It's usually related also to how we work with technology. Like at that stage, we didn't have Oculus Rift DK2 yet. So we had to work on DK1 and switch to DK2 during production, which was like a bit of a challenge at that stage as well. Also, in terms of the creative, we were given a brief which was very generic. So we had to work with a creative team to come up with a solution which was involving, for example, the treadmill. But yeah, it's like it's a super bespoke experience. What we do, what we do see sometimes is that clients come back with a very specific reference in our portfolio, saying like, hey, we like the Nissan Juke experience. Can you do something similar for us? But like, we don't really reuse much of code or the infrastructure that we have. We usually start from scratch, and maybe there's just something in our experience that we can rely on, but not really reuse in a direct way.
It kind of looks like a natural step to go forward to kind of empower your clients, is to enable them to create this kind of experiences themselves, maybe by means of the CMS, by means of the kind of content deliver network, to create something like this in store without the help of engineers.
It does sound exciting, and well, this is a dream of everyone, I think. Well, maybe not of us, like a company like ours, because that would mean the client can do it themselves. But I think, to some extent it is possible, and like the way we work, for example, is that we create lots of tools for the client to play with. Again, they are usually bespoke tools because it's super difficult and challenging to create a universal tool which gives you lots of freedom and power, but it's also powerful enough to create a top quality experience in the end. So what we usually do is, for an experience like, for example, Way to Go or even Nissan Juke, we develop like an in-game set of sliders and controls for the client to play with, to, for example, change the color of the Nissan Juke car in the experience without having to go to us, and they just give us the values in the end. So, to some extent we do work with our clients in this way, giving them the power to tweak stuff. But, so far there's no tool where a non-tech savvy person could develop a whole experience like this. So they still need tech engineers to actually develop this. Certainly. No, yeah, it's a dream of everyone, I guess. Like very, very luckily, and we've got software which is actually bridging many different worlds. Like for example, what we use at Unit 9 is usually either Unity or Unreal Engine, which is a technology which both developers and designers work with. So at least this is already kind of giving that bridge. Regarding clients, it really depends on the agency or the client. Not everyone is keen on poking with even a minimum of kind of technological software. But that gives us the possibility to collaborate with clients in a bit more direct way. But yeah, a software like you mentioned, which would bridge the worlds, is definitely very, very interesting. And maybe actually web is the way to do it as well. Like, you could have people collaborating on the same kind of experience in VR, real time. So.
Do you have any sort of analytics lined up to those experiences? Do you gather data on how people interact with those applications?
Not in all of them. In some of them we do use analytics, like you mean basically an in-experience analytics. So yes, but like something we can probably even easier observe than kind of track with an automated system is that people react in all possible ways to VR. We've seen people, for example, at Paris Motor Show, which is where the Nissan Juke installation was, we've seen people jumping, you know, kind of crouching when they were supposed to hit something. They really do all sorts of possible things. Like most of people had it kind of naturally, like they were naturally picking up the way they should navigate through the experience, but like some of them were struggling as well. So we definitely see a huge diversity of human behavior in the virtual environment, which is something super interesting. There's like, you know, to our best knowledge, there's no analytics system which is like specifically designed for a VR experience. It's maybe because the VR experiences are super different, you know, from each other. So a generic platform could be tricky, but you know, it's definitely something we observe even with our eyes, and lots of crazy stuff happening. Certainly, and you know, such things are already happening. It's like both for our company, but also the competition is you know, is very tight and close. We've seen an example of a VR car showroom. So basically, it's a showroom where you don't have any car, and you just have Oculus Rift headsets, and you can, you know, put it on and customize your dream car, and then see it in kind of virtual reality, but you don't actually have any physical car in the showroom. So, you know, things like this are definitely happening. And, you know, also to your point about, you know, those experiences being bespoke, like they are usually created bespoke for a given client or a given purpose, but like the Nissan Juke installation was showcased first in Paris Motor Show, but then it traveled to Barcelona as well, and to, there was an event in Italy, I think, as well.
Bologna.
So, yeah, Bologna Motor Show. So those things are recurring, and clients are super happy with them. So this also proves that there's power in virtual reality. And maybe just a fun fact, during the Paris Motor Show event, there were just 3 companies out of over 100 that used virtual reality at their you know, showcase. So it proves that you have to be on top, and you have to keep pushing with technology.
Okay, so that will be it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and you know, I guess we'll probably hang around a couple minutes. So if anyone has any more questions, just, you know, feel free to approach us, and we'll be happy to speak.
You can call us later too.
Oh, it's my phone actually. Yes.
Yeah.